ॐ यस्या भवद्भक्तिजनार्तिहन्तुः प्रतितमेश्वचार्यतूर्णं स्तम्भे अवतारस्तुमनन्यलक्ष्यं लक्ष्मीं सिंहं शरणं प्रपद्ये श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि गुरुभ्यः तद्गुरुभ्यश्च नमो वाकमधीमहे प्रणीमहे च तत्राद्यौ दम्पतीं जगदां पतीं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामनमच्युतां अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदां भजेत्मव्यामोहतत्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतो श्रीकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणं शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य न कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्गडगणं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं शरश्च मदाह्वयभट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरयोगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रेणुपरकारितीन्द्रमिष्टान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुश. Consider a language as oriental. Is it at least 2000 years old? At least, they say. What kind of literature existed before 2000 years, after 2000 years, or recently? So that's how. So in that category, Jayadeva's Gita Govindam and Leela Shuka's Krishna Karnamritam are very modern. Very modern means less than 1000 years old. So they could not gain that kind of a status, respectable status, as a Srimad Bhagavatam. And another problem with the Srimad Bhagavatam and other things are, they are Puranas. They are Puranas. All three great Acharyas, Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, they did not accept any Purana as a reference standard to understand Paramatma. They considered the highly classical and very affirmative Upanishads, only 10 of them. Not to criticize anybody, our people are such experts. Originally, many great scholars agreed Upanishads are 108. But you know one thing? Recently, they made them, I heard, in one of the documentaries, there are 112 Upanishads, rather 113 Upanishads. It was in an academic discussion in one of the internet groups I saw. People question, where did the 113 come from? Even great acharyas like Ramanuja, Shankara, Madhva did not even consider all the 108 Upanishads as great. Mahopanishads, only 10 of them they considered as serious Upanishads. The rest of them, even among the Upanishads also, if suppose you are doing a bachelor's degree with Upanishads as major, in the first year they will teach you introductory Upanishads, very light Upanishads. Second year they will teach you, say, Upanishads 101, all minor Upanishads. Second year Upanishads 202, somewhat in between, intermediary Upanishads. Only when you are in the final semester, Upanishads 303 or 404, they will teach you the 10 Upanishads with the Bhashyam of Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva. So even when Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva considered only 10 of them as a standard Upanishads, and everybody thought 108, where did the 113 come? You know what funniest thing? What the other 5 they added? They added now Buddha Upanishad, Jaina Upanishad, and some people belonging to the Radha Tattvam added Radha Upanishad, and some people, our own Mahatmas, have taken money and composed Allah Upanishad, and another person took money and composed Christ Upanishad also. They are there in one library. The other day there was a documentary on that. What do you call that? Therefore, all great Acharyas did not consider the Puranas as standard. Then comes the next question. Then how come Ramayana got very popular? Number one, because of its age. Number two, because it is Adi Kavyam. Number three, Ramayana is not a Purana. Ramayana is a chronicle. Chronicle means a diary of events. This is how it happened. This is how it happened. This is how it happened. It is a it is a chronicle describing a great historical event. Because of its religious value, otherwise it is a history book. This is how it happened. Therefore, Acharyas accepted Ramayana and Mahabharata as itihasas. Itihasa means itiha asaha. This is how it happened. This is how it happened. What does it mean? This is a diary. This is how it happened. Just as you write a diary. Oh, I was very tired, wanted to wake up at 6 a.m., but I woke up only at 9 a.m. Just as you write your diary, that's how they have written. Oh, Dashratha loved Kaikeyi, but the Kaikeyi turned to be very violent. That's how they have written. So now going back to your question, sir, it all depends on if your heart is filled with a pure love for Krishna. You describe your own way the wonderful relationship between a Jivatma craving for Paramatma as the Paramaekantikas, Gopikas craving for the Antaratma, the Paramatma, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Does it make sense to you, sir?
Yes, Acharya. Thank
you. Emma, anything else you want to know, Ma? Okay. For understanding, I request all of you, every Tuesday evening, Thursday evening, 4:15 to 5, just 45 minutes we are teaching Sanskrit. You need to have a little bit of understanding of Sanskrit. Then you will enjoy the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then you will enjoy the beauty of Gopika Geetam. Then you can enjoy the Rasa Krida portion of Krishna Karnamritam. You will enjoy the divine ecstasies that are there in Gita Govindam. But the question is, you are busy. What can I do? That's why I'm sending even the postings. At least read them. They are very, very simple. I'm trying to explain Sanskrit in a very simple way. Even myself, I'm a very beginner. I always consider, if I were there sitting like that, how will I understand? I'm just trying to compose very, very simple words, very simple sentences. So far, 26 lectures also are given. But practically, except a couple of people, most of you don't even join. So how do you understand? How do you... Same thing, sir. No offenses. When you were there up to your high school, you studied regular mathematics. But when you wanted to study computers, did you not study that starting from the scratch all the way from the fundamentals? Now we are on a religious program. We are all students trying to know more and more and more about our beloved Lord Krishna. So if you want to understand that, you should go to the original language. I don't understand is not acceptable in spiritual life. Suppose somebody's mother tongue is Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada. How did you start learning English? Now, how come you are able to understand English? Because you studied that language. You studied various textbooks. You studied the grammar, how to form sentences. same thing about Sanskrit. What we want is without our effort, if something can be available, that's what we are looking for. And in spiritual circles, usually that won't work.
Acharya Dasanarian, sorry to interrupt here. Did Krishna speak Sanskrit or Prakritam, Acharya?
Krishna always spoke Sanskrit. Only the ladies, not even the ladies associated with Krishna, the common folk ladies in the Vedic time spoke Prakritam. So, Mahatma Vedanta Desika, Achyuta Shatakam, he has composed in Sanskrit. The same Achyuta Shatakam he composed in Prakritam as the household ladies. To put it in, not to make fun of anybody, please don't mistake like that. When I was very young in India, they used to call it as butler English. That butler who cannot speak English but will try to speak in English with lots of mistakes. Butler English they used to call. It is like, suppose somebody wanted to convey, hey, look here, man, I am talking, the other person is talking. In between, why are you trying to interfere? Suppose you want to convey that. The half knowledgeable butler English will be like this. I talk, he talk. Middle, why you talk? I talk, he talk. Middle, why you talk? It's not grammatically correct. I am talking, he won't say. He is talking, he won't say. In between, why are you interfering? He won't say. To convey that, he will say, I talk, he talk. Middle, why you talk? That kind of English, that kind of Sanskrit is called Prakritam.
But Vedas were written in a different kind of language, right, Acharya? It's not Sanskrit, right?
No. It is all Sanskrit, sir. Some people consider that as a Grantham. Again, with a due apologies, various people incorporated Sanskrit into their local languages and a little bit easily understandable, and they created those very, very different dialects. Vedas originally were all of them, even till today, they're all Sanskrit. Okay, that's not correct. Again, some linguistic fans to say that my language is superior even to Sanskrit, etc. That kind of people might have created. But wherever you refer to, all Vedic texts are only in Sanskrit. Only from the advent of Alvars, the local languages took priority, gained priority. In fact, at one point of time, Sanskrit was not even considered as Sanskrit. Sanskrit was considered as a Deva Bhasha, the language of the gods. Okay, anything else, Amma?
What language do they speak in Vaikuntham?
Of course, if you go to Tamil Nadu and you ask, they will say only Tamil, because Alvars have said Pallandum Paduvome. So how can you sing Pallandu if it is not Tamil? But the thing is, if you go to Vaikuntham, you will know Tamil, you will know Sanskrit, you will know Malayalam, you will know every language. And Bhagavan will understand every language. And by the time you get moksham, you will understand every language. So it doesn't matter. If you think it is Tamil, fine Tamil. If you think it is Sanskrit, fine Sanskrit. So when we go to Vaikuntham, that time we will talk about that. Right now, it's all speculation. Because the Pashirams are all written in Tamil, they say only Pallanam Paduvame. Whereas in the case of Vedas, they glorify all Nitya Shuris, etc. They are glorifying Bhagavan only in Sanskrit in the Vedas. All the prayers are offered by Adisesha, etc. Sudarshana, only in Sanskrit.
Acharya, question about Bhagavan responding to Shishupala, right? It's about Bhagavan being Shadgunya Paripurna, right? Why would he feel that he get insulted when someone like Shishupala was, giving an abuses?
It
Whereas
is,
the same abuses we say that when Draupadi was doing to Duryodhana, uh, his response is bad, whereas Bhagavan responding to insults is good. It's kind of hypocritical, right, Acharya?
you are not following in the right perspective. Something I feel. Maybe the way you were brought up as a child or the way you were instructed as a child. Some people have spoiled your mind, I feel, after listening to you for so many days. Look at this. Bhagavan has to establish proper law and order. Bhagavan is to be considered as perfection personified. That should be the fundamental idea with which you should approach. Now, Lord Krishna responded to Shishupala. There, the question you should understand is on day one itself, Bhagavan could have eliminated Shishupala. But he did not because Bhagavan is a Satyasandha. When Shishupala was born, that fellow was born with 3 eyes and 4 hands. And the prophecy was when the mother is crying, take this child and keep him in the lap of everyone. When some Mahatma's lap this child is placed, his 3rd eye will disappear, his extra 2 hands will disappear. Then the Akashivani also revealed, then you'll be happy that your child became a normal child. But the problem is your child will also die in the same person's hands. So that mother was keeping that ghost-like baby Shishupala with the 3 eyes and 4 hands in everyone's lap. He remained a ghost child. When Krishna and Balarama once visited their paternal aunt, some people called Shruta Devi, some people called Shruta Shrava. Well, the father is Damaghosha. Let us say Damaghosha and Mrs. Damaghosha, so no problem. Shruta Shrava, Shruta Devi, that's how they call. So when the paternal aunt kept Shishupala in Krishna's lap, his 3rd eye and the extra 2 hands disappeared. Immediately, Krishna's paternal aunt begged Krishna for forgiveness, that her demon child should be protected. And Krishna promised his paternal aunt, even if your son makes 100 mistakes, I will forgive. The idea is nobody will be stupid enough to keep on making 100 mistakes at a stretch. That is the idea. So Krishna said 100 mistakes. That paternal aunt was very happy. So Krishna tolerated. But on the day of Rajasuyam, Yudhishthira's Rajasuyam, when the 100 mistakes have exceeded, then Krishna has to kill him. Because again, Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Dushkrutam. Again, Krishna knows, Krishna being the Paramapurusha, he knows the past, the present, and future. Therefore, he knows these 2 gatekeepers. This is the last birth, and they have to go back to their job again as Dwarapalakas. So he killed. So Krishna's killing Shishupala is part of his job description. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya. The 3 fundamental achievements are the 3 fundamental responsibilities, are the 3 fundamental characteristics that determine whether a particular form of Narayana is an incarnation or not. is by the three things: paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya dushkritam, dharma samsthapanarthaya. So as part of the requirement, okay, now I got it, requirement. As part of the requirement, Krishna eliminates Shishupala and Bantavatra. So how can we compare that one with Draupadi abusing Duryodhana? Duryodhana is a fellow with utmost Rajoguna and part Tamoguna. Duryodhana is one devoid of any dharma. Duryodhana doesn't even know the basic manners. In any dignified circle, no man will ever try to uncover his own dhoti and will try to show off the inside of his thighs. Duryodhana was so mannerless. In front of all the dignitaries in the Sabha, when Draupadi was being humiliated, he just pushed aside his dhoti and showed the inside of his thigh, indicating or marking to Draupadi, come and sit in my lap. You better accept me as your husband instead of accepting these 5 useless husbands. He doesn't even have the basic manners, basic culture. Part of it, read Mahabharata. If you have time, attend this evening Mahabharata's lecture. I know that lady wanted dharma from Mahabharata. I don't think even if you take 4 classes, it will be done. So much of description about dharma in Mahabharata. That fellow doesn't even know dharma. Therefore, Draupadi just said, you are not even worth talking to. So Draupadi accusing Duryodhana is different. Bhagavan doing a celestial duty, a divine duty is different. So we cannot equate those two.
Yes, Acharya. The point is about getting insulted, right, Acharya? Bhagavan cannot be insulted, right?
It is not insulted. It is not insulted. They say when an elephant is going, dogs bark. So the dog's barking is not an insult to the elephant. It only indicates the mean nature of the dog. So it is not an insult. Shishupala, out of his extreme jealousy that Krishna, he knows he is unqualified even to receive that, what do you call, Agra Puja. He knows he is the least qualified one. But even though he is least qualified, he could not digest the fact that Krishna was given that honor. So it is that extreme contempt, extreme jealousy, contempt. Shishupala started bursting out his hatred for Krishna. That is how you should understand. It's not insult. After all, who is he to insult Krishna who is beyond? When Krishna himself is saying, Manava Manayos Tulyaha, Tulyo Mitrari Pakshayoho. Krishna is not insulted. Elephant is going, dogs are barking. It is only the mean nature of the dogs that they think that they can chase an elephant away by barking. The elephant doesn't even care. Still, the elephant moves majestically. So, out of his contempt, out of his hatred for Krishna, Shishupala kept on abusing Krishna, accusing Krishna. If that fellow is any knowledgeable, how can he compare Krishna to be as a thief? When he is Paramatma, when everything belongs to him, what is it that he is stealing? He went to his own house and took that butter or yogurt. How can you call it as stealing? But this fellow is there on a lowest platform. Therefore, according to him, Krishna is a human being. Krishna went to the neighbor's house. Krishna's house is only Yashoda's place. But he went to neighbor place and ate their yogurt or butter. Therefore, Krishna is a thief. For that kind of a senseless understanding of a divine purpose, how can we equate that to Duryodhana's nasty behavior?
Acharya, this is about the insulting and the gunas only. But can we take it like this? Like Krishna gives as we give it to him. He gives back as we give it to him. Like Radha, Gopis, they
That
give
is that you cannot compare for negative things. That is only for positive things. Ye dhamam prapadyante should be applied only for positive things. Krishna will never stoop down. If that is the case, your argument will not hold water. Why? If Shishpala abused Krishna, then Krishna should also, hey, idiot, you shut up, you are idiot, you are scouter. He should have retaliated in 100 abuses. Krishna did not do that. Krishna simply said, Shishupala, I tolerated all your prattling because I gave a promise to your mother. I will forgive you up to 100 mistakes. Now that 100 are over, your time is up. That's it. Krishna did not reciprocate in the same way as Shishupala did. Krishna simply released the Sudarshan Chakra and just Sudarshan Chakra came and killed Shishupala. So Krishna will reciprocate with us is only for positive ways. Ye dhamam prapadyante is only for positive ways. If you deal with Krishna in the Dasya Bhavam, he will reciprocate with you as the master. If you deal with him in the Vatsalya Bhavam, Krishna will reciprocate with you either as a child or as your mother. If you reciprocate Krishna in Sakhya Bhavam, he will reciprocate with you as a Sakhya, friend. If you deal with Krishna in a Madhurya Bhavam, Krishna will reciprocate with you in the Madhurya Bhavam. So for Kalyana Gunas only, Krishna's reciprocation. Not for people like Shishpala.
They were Jaya Vijaya and they chose to be enemies of Bhagavan, right,
That's
Acharya?
not a question, but Krishna cannot tell those people. Rama did not tell Ravana, you are my gatekeeper. But indirectly, that instinct, even though Rama is not aware, even though during the entire Rama Avatara, Rama decided, Sriman Narayana decided that he will incarnate on the planet Earth as the son of Dasharatha, as Lord Rama, with completely no knowledge that he is Narayana. That's how the story, screenplay, direction were conceived in Vaikuntham by the Divya Dampatis. They acted like that. The story, screenplay, and direction for Krishna Avatara were programmed in Sri Vaikuntham in a different way. That only Sriman Narayana will have the complete knowledge that he is the Paramapurusha, not even Mahalakshmi. So the programming is different. The story, screenplay is different. That's why Krishna knows, but Krishna did not tell. Did Krishna say, hey, I'm sparing your life because you are my Dwarpalakas? And even if Krishna said that to Shishupala and Dantavaktra, okay, Shishupala, even though you abused me 100 times in front of the whole assembly, even though they are all false accusations, since you were there as I am Narayana, and you are my gatekeepers, out of that connection, I am forgiving you. You know immediately what Shishupala will say. Another joke, Krishna, another joke. You are Narayana, I am your gatekeeper. Come on, Krishna, stop this nonsense. That's how Shishupala would have reacted. What else you expect from a fellow filled with Rajoguna and Tamoguna? That is why they say, Krishna, you know what he said? Question to all of you, ma. Bhagavad Gita should be told only to whom? Bhagavad Gita or Vedic scriptures should be explained only to whom?
To the qualified. Qualified.
No,
who is not asuya about Krishna.
there is one more thing. You're right, you're 50% correct. What is the second thing?
Who is interested?
Nacha shushushave vachyam nachamam yobhyasuyati. Please, I want every one of you, please be knowledgeable. When you open a book or when you read, have an open mind. Nacha shushushave vachyam. All these things are happening because people do not go to their acharyas, serve acharyas, and learn from them. Shushrusha. Krishna specifically said, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. There is neither seva nor pariprashna. That's why people are not knowledgeable. People are not learning. Krishna says, Nacha shushushave vachyam nachamam yopyasuyati. For those people who have not rendered service to their acharyas, for those people who are jealous of the status of Bhagavan, that he is the Supreme Lord, I am only a servant, they are jealous. Such people, don't even teach them Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says. Is that clear, Aya?
Oh yes, Acharya Dasan. Yeah.
In fact, you may say, again, I'm not trying to say anything. Before my sannyasam, when I was there, even though I had a job, every year I used to make it a point to go to India and spend at least a month every year. Minimum 1 week, maximum even 1 month at a time, just to stay with Acharya. Just be there, eat the leftovers of Acharya. It's called Madulam. Madulam, wait until the Acharya has eaten. And his assistants, we used to bribe them. And we used to beg them, will you please keep some leftovers of Acharya for us? Even though there is plenty prasadam being served in Ahobila Matam, we used to wait for the Acharya to finish his lunch, and his assistant will give the leftovers of Acharya. Acharya Sesham. Same way, just sit with Acharya. When he is free, when he likes, he will give some Upadesham. That's how most of the things. And you should be very, very attentive. Acharya may not repeat. You cannot ask, can you repeat? Can you repeat? He will simply say, are you sleeping when I was telling you? 44th Alagya Singer, if you're not paying attention, he used to get very annoyed. If you want to sleep, why did you come here? Go home and sleep, he will say. That's how he used to say.
Is it Uchishtam, Acharya, Madulam or Uchishtam?
It is not called Uchishtam, it is called Acharya Sesham. Again, our terminology has to change. Uchishtam for ordinary people. The leftovers of Acharya is called Acharya Sesham. The language, one second. Padma, are you there, ma?
Yes, again, yes.
You went to what, 44th, 45th or 46th? Who is your Acharya?
45th and 46th, Acharya.
No, what I'm saying is, have you ever met 44th?
When I was young in Tiruchi, Swamiji, at that time.
No, young means how young? 5 years, 10 years?
No, 12 years old.
Emma?
12, 13 years old at that time.
So 12, 13 means you know that Acharya, right?
Adi.
You know how that Acharya speaks, right?
Only outside, he'll be sitting at the entrance of the madam.
Exactly. You know how he talks, right? That's how he used to shout, right?
Yes.
He used to say bluntly, hey, idiot, if you want to sleep, why do you have to come here? Go home. Go home and sleep. Because of his age, sometimes he will be very, very harsh and chiding also. But people enjoyed his talking. He had so much of affection. An Acharya is one who has so much of affection every time. How will these people learn more? How will these people learn more? So, Acharyas is not called Uchishtam. For ordinary people, somebody has eaten something and kept his, wherever there is a saliva contact is called Uchishtam. Whereas Acharyas is called Sesham, Acharya Sesham. Is the leftovers. Okay, they might say, for example, a kilogram of okra as vegetable, and Acharya has taken not even 50 grams. of that okra vegetable. They are not giving you from the leaf where Acharya has eaten. They will give you of the 1 kilogram of okra they made as vegetable. Maybe they might have served Acharya some 50 grams or 100 grams of it. The remaining 900 grams of the okra vegetable, that is called Acharya Sesham. People mistake Acharya Sesham means, oh, taking from the leaf where Acharya has eaten. That is not. Anyway, so we'll come to that. Go ahead, Amma. Can we go to Paaduka Sahasram or any other questions?
Yes, Acharya. The news me.
Yeah, please follow things in the right way. That is why satsangam is very, very important. In fact, those days, money is not the criteria. But when money came into picture, things started degrading. So, the first qualification in one of those lectures Acharya was telling was, Vairagyam is the most important one. Vairagyam, not having any attachment, especially to the three things, namely Dhana, Dara, Putra. These are the three things that will bind a person. And these, the Vairagyam of Dhaneshana, Dareshana, Putreshana is the one which will take you to a pure platform of Tyagam or Sannyasam. In fact, I remember very well when 44th Jeeyar was there. Literally, he was struggling how to make the payments for the workers for the Rajagopuram construction. We are talking about 1980s. That time, some very rich people from if I say the place, you will know. From some very rich people, very rich. Even in those days, 1980, they could afford to give up to 10 lakhs. Those days, 10 lakhs means it is more than 10 crores now. If you buy a property in those days for 10 lakhs, by now it would have been 10 crores. So those days, they could give every individual 10 lakhs as donation. In 1980s, 10 lakhs is a very large amount. A conversation was there going on between Acharya and those people. Those people insisted, will you please come to our place? We will donate as best as we can. Acharya nicely said, I cannot go because I promised Lord Ranganatha until his Rajagopuram is constructed, I will not leave Srirangam. They kept on asking, they kept on insisting, please come, please come. Finally, Acharya was a bit irritated and said, how many times I have to tell you I won't come? Again, after a couple of minutes, they brought the same topic. You know what exactly Acharya said? What the hell you people are thinking? Am I here for your money or what? If it is the money, I don't have to do sannyasam. Just get lost. I don't need you. I don't need your money. If that money belongs to Ranganatha, if it has to come to Ranganatha, it will come. Just get lost from here. That much of Vairagyam Acharya had. When people fall for, oh my God, this man a rich man, I should not annoy him, I should not offend him, I should go to his place, he'll give more money, I can have some more luxuries. Sannyasam is not meant for luxurious life. That's why they say, Vivikta Desha Sevittam, Aratir Jana Samsadi. Narayana. Sriman Venkatanathārya Kavitarkika Kesarim Vedanta Acharya Varyomi Sanidhattam Sadakrudim Santa Sriranga Visha Charanasran Shikhara Jayanti Bhunatrana Padapankaja Renavaha Bharataya Param Namostu Tasmai Prathamoda Haranaya Bhakti Bhakam Yadupajnam Aseshata Prativyam प्रथितो राघव पादुका प्रभावः श्रीरङ्गनाथ दिव्य मणिपादुकाभ्यां नमः.
Narayana Swamiji. Please unmute everyone, chant Acharyaji. Vedanta Desipadabja Brahma Narayana Kapabhishek Kar Sri Ranganath Abhishekar Labdha Bhuta Sri Krishna Desika Pratyay Smriti Sri Krishna Gurubhyo Namaha. Similarly, Swamiji. Similarly.
Yesterday we have seen when the holy water that washed the feet of Sriman Narayana became Ganga and could purify Umapati Shankara. How great should be the holy Padukas, because these Padukas, that Ganga was there touching the feet of Lord Trivikrama only for a few seconds. But these Padukas are there always in touch. But you know what? Sriman Narayana used to respect Padukas to such an extent that he will wash his feet and then only place his feet on the Padukas. Yadadvara bhujam shirah padayugancha rangeshituhu drudham ghatayitum kshamam bhavati sesha seshitvatah shirastram idamastu me durita sindhu mushtindhayam kadadva vihati kshamam kimapi tat padatradvayam. Kimapi tat padatradvayam. Now Mahatma Desika is again offering his salutations to the Padukas in a very wonderful way. May those indescribably famous Padukas of the Paramapurusha Sri Ranganatha always protect us. Always protect us. You know what example he is giving here for protection? He is giving here the example of a helmet. Shirastranam, helmet. You are riding a motorbike. You must have a helmet. Helmet, just as a helmet protects your head. May this great Padukas of Sri Ranganatha protect us always. Well, the helmet will protect you. Vasudha, when will the helmet protect you, man? I'm sorry, I'm asking a woman. She doesn't know, she doesn't ride a motorbike. Chakradhar, when will a helmet protect you, Chakradhar?
Physical injury, Swami, when you fall down or when you
The most important, when you put it on, that is the most important thing. When you put it on, okay, you bought the helmet, but you kept it on your dining table. You don't get any protection. Helmet will protect you only when you put it on your head. You buy the helmet and you leave it in the house. A helmet in the house will not protect you when you are there riding a motorbike. Same thing, Padukas are there. But when will the Padukas protect you? When you accept them on your head. Just as when you keep the helmet on your head, you get protection from injury. Same way, when the divine Padukas of Ranganatha are accepted on our head, then we get protection. How great are the Padukas? The Padukas are so great that they can bring the heads of 330 million gods and goddesses to Bhagavan Sri Ranganatha's lotus feet. When they come there and fall at the feet of Sri Ranganatha, they are actually accepting Sri Ranganatha Paadukas, Sriman Narayana Paadukas on their head. That great are the Paadukas who can bring 330 million gods to Bhagavan Sriman Narayana's feet. What is the popular word that you can use there for this kind of an example? Emma, what is the popular word that you will use for this kind of an example? That the Padukas are so great they can bring 330 million Devi Devatas to the feet of Lord Sriman Narayana. What is the popular word for that, sir? Padma, what is the popular word, Amma? Come on, sir, it's called crowd puller. Crowd puller. When a politician in India conducts a public meeting, nobody will come for that meeting. So what will he do? He will have a crowd puller. He will bring a hero. Okay, Rajinikanth, you come and you give 10 minutes speech. To see Rajinikanth, crowd puller is not the chief minister candidate who is the crowd puller. They bring a popular figure. Okay, Amitabh Bachchan, you come, crowd puller. They need some crowd pullers. So Mahatma Deshika is saying, Bhagavan is there, only figurehead. But who is the real crowd puller? The Padukas. Now, when they bring them, the politicians bringing a crowd puller and they are coming, they are not having any loyalty at all. They just came to have a glimpse of their favorite hero or heroine. They just wanted to hear their hero or heroine speak, that's all. They don't have any relationship. Whereas here it is not like that. The greatness of the Padukas is such. When Paaduka Devi is pulling somebody to the feet of Bhagavan Sriman Narayana, she is establishing an everlasting relationship between the devotee and Bhagavan as a Sesha Seshyatvam. Sesha Seshyatpataha. The eternal relationship of Sesha, the servant. Seshi, the master. That is the greatness of the Padukas. They are capable of, they means the Padukas, they are capable of even evaporating all the oceans and oceans of sins. You know how many of us do Sharanagati? You know how many tons and tons of sins we have got to our credit? Ton is not even an adequate word. It says unimaginable oceans of sins, oceans of sins. A ton is after all 1,000 kilograms. Whereas if you take an ocean, why 1,000 kilograms? There are billions of liters of water. These Padukas are capable of drying up all those oceans of sins of all the devotees who come there in supplication. And not only that, the Padukas are also having another great quality of wiping out all irreligious paths. Irreligious. Irreligious means non-Vedic. non-Vedic. They are called Pashanda Matas. Pashandas, one who will not accept the authority of the Vedas. So, the Paadukas are so great. The perfect relationship of Sesha Seshitvam, Paadukas can achieve in no time. No one else is having that kind of a capability. That is the reason why Bhagavan gives the greatest of the greatest respect even to the Paadukas, that he will wash his feet and then put on the Paadukas. See how wonderfully Mahatma Desika puts it. In the next verse he says, He Manipadukas of Bhagavan Sri Ranganatha, Samakshitapati Chetasi Stiraniveshita Tavaki Mukunda Manipaduke Muhurupasana Vasana Udarka Parikarkashan Upari Parvana Karvitan Anardha Shatagarbhitan Amara Shambhali Vibhraman. Now, the greatness of the Paadukas, the Manipadukas of Bhagavan Sriman Narayana. If we keep those great Paadukas on our heads, if we suppose you cannot keep them on your head always, if you cannot keep them on your head always, what will you do? You will keep them in your heart always. Yes, you came to the temple, but after some time you have to go back to your household duties. At that time you cannot go home with the shatari on your head. But what can you do? You can keep those Paadukas in your heart always. And those Mahatmas who meditate on Paaduka Devi constantly will be able to overcome any number of difficulties, any number of pitfalls. If only we have Bhagavan's Paadukas in our heart, we can overcome any number of pitfalls that are there in the form of superior or inferior material pleasures that ordinary people are craving for. What do you mean? Mahatma Desika goes very bluntly to the extent of the attraction between a man and a woman. More so, if the man is very handsome, lot of attraction for the woman. If the woman is very beautiful, lot of men get attracted. That is why Mahatma Kulasekhara Alvar says, Ramya Rama Tanulata Nandani Napirantum. Hey Krishna, I am not surrendering to you so that I can go to Swargalokam and enjoy conjugal happiness with the divine beauties like Ramba, Urvasi, etc. I'm not interested in that. Now Mahatma Desika is getting the clue or the queue from Kulashekara Alvar's Mukundamala and says, Paaduka Devi, those great Mahatmas who have you always in their heart can even overcome the desire to have conjugal happiness with the divine Apsarasas like Rambha, Urvashi, Menaka, Tilottama, Ghutachi, Punjikasthala, etc., etc. As you know, when it comes to man-woman relationship, many people fell victims to the attraction because it is a very compelling attraction. Now Mahatma Desika says, Paaduka Devi, those people who have you in their heart can even overcome any number of pitfalls. The pitfalls appear in the form of material happiness, like lot of gold, lot of wealth, big house, servants, cars, money, opulences. It could also mean a bevy of beauties at your command, just for the sense gratification. And imagine how much a person will be attracted if they are divine damsels like Apsarasas. Mahatma Desika is glorifying the Paadukas. The true devotees who have the Paadukas in their heart can even overcome the desire of enjoying with the Apsaras. That is the reason why people go only for the Paadukas. Nothing else. The Paadukas can take care of the material as well as the spiritual well-being of a devotee. Vigahante rangakshitipada trayini sakrad vahanta stvam antar vinihita kuchela vyatikara madhuddama stambiramakarata niryan madhujari parivaha Prenkat Brahmara Mukhara Mangana Bhuvam. Again, a prayer in supplication to the divine Paadukas. Vigahante Rangakshitipati Padatrayini. The divine Paadukas of Bhagavan Sri Ranganatha. Those who are very poor. Here Kuchela means he is not referring to the devotee of Krishna Kuchela. Here Kuchela means poor people whose clothes are completely torn. Even if we are very poor, if only we have the Paadukas on our head, we are so poor that our clothes are so torn that even the skin is being exposed. And if we are thinking about our poverty, let us all remember to keep the divine Paadukas of Bhagavan Sri Ranganatha on our heads. What will happen? Today you are poor. Start bowing down to the Paadukas and accept them on their head, on your head. Very soon you will be there, walking into palaces, walking into palaces, where there are elephants all over for you to have a joy ride. And where you will be there welcomed with unimaginable flower garlands, where the honey bees are there completely flocking around for the fragrance of those wonderful flower garlands. Indirectly, the poor will become very rich with Paaduka Devi's blessings. Even if you are poor today, if only you have the Paadukas on your head, and if only you have the Paadukas in your heart, you will be very, very honored. Even though today you may be poor, if Paadukas in your heart, you will be like a royal dignitary, with elephants attending on you for joy rides, and where you are garlanded for each and every occasion. Thereby, all the honey bees are there flocking for those divine flower garlands, for the honey in those divine flower garlands. What else you want other than just surrendering to Bhagavan Sri Krishna? And we all can do that. We all can do Sharanagati. We all can accept Bhagavan Sri Krishna's Paadukas on our head. And we all can enjoy the luxury of getting VIP treatment, royal treatment, all because of one simple act we did, accepting the Paadukas on our head. Adhidaivatam apatatsu kalpeshu adhikaram bhajatam pitamahanam abhirakshatu ranga bhartuhu esha karuna kachana paduka mayinah. So here, the glory of Paadukas is again in a different context. Adhidaivatam apatastu kalpeshu adhikaram bhajatam pitamahanam abhirakshatu ranga bhartuhu esha karuna kachana paduka mayinah. Brahma Swayambhu Chaturanana. Hey Paaduka Devi of Bhagavan Sriman Narayana, be merciful to bless us all, always. Because you are the controller of the destiny of all those fortunate souls. You are the controller of the destiny of all those fortunate souls who are craving to become the four-faced Brahmas, creators of all the worlds, in the future kalpas to come. Everybody wants to have the best of the best jobs. You know that. And you know what is the best job that you can have? Becoming a Brahma. Becoming a Brahma. That way, you are deciding their fate. You are writing what kind of karma phalam that they have to go through. So you are the one deciding. So you got the best of the best job of becoming a Brahma. And if people are there waiting in line to become Brahmas, in the future, once this Brahma's time is up, who is giving them the appointment order? All right, they may be qualified, but they should be getting a posting. They should be given the appointment order to report to duty. There may be many people who are qualified to become Brahmas, but it is the Paaduka Devi's blessings that will change the destiny of all those aspirants to become Brahmas in the future kalpas. Now you know how great is Paaduka Devi. If somebody wants to become a Brahma, they should be the number one Jivatma with the highest amount of Punya Karma. And if suppose there are a dozen people waiting in line to become Brahmas in the future, you know who will get the job assignment first preference? Those people who are fortunate to accept Padukas on their head. Paaduka Devi will be so pleased with them. Even to become Brahma, they need the blessings of Paaduka Devi. Such is the greatness of Paaduka Devi, and we are fortunate even to think of that Paaduka Devi now. Just one more verse, Amma, for today. Dhruvam Indriyanaga Shunkalava Nirayadvara Nivaranargalava Anapaya Padadhirohineva Mama Rangesha Vihara Paduke Tvam. Rangesha Viharini Paduke Tvam. The great Padukas of Bhagavan Sri Ranganatha are also very, very merciful. The beauty is not that not only Padukas are great, but they are very merciful. That is the most important aspect. Now, Mahatma Desika says, even though he is following the greatest of the greatest discipline of absolutely no sense gratification, still Mahatma Desika says, hey Paaduka Devi, you know my desires, you know my senses, you know my jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. They are like elephants in rut, uncontrollable elephants. To control them, you really require steel chains to put them and to tie them up to a very strong iron post hammered into the ground. Paaduka Devi, you are those ropes to tie up my uncontrollable elephants-like desires arising out of my senses. You are like the padlock to seal all doors to the unimaginable hell, to the Kumbhipaka Naraka, etc. You are the ladder for all surrendered souls to use it and to climb all the way to Sri Vaikuntham. And absolutely there is no doubt about it that Paaduka Devi is capable of doing these three things. Number one, control the senses. The senses are like elephants, but Paaduka Devi can be like the steel chains to stop those elephants called the uncontrollable senses. Paaduka Devi is like a padlock to be put on the three doors open to hell. Kama Trividham Narakasyedam Dwaram Nashanamatmanaha. Kamakrodhas tatha lopaha tasmaditatrayam chajet. So the three doors wide open to hell, Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Close them and padlock them. That padlock is Paaduka Devi. You want to go to Sri Vaikuntham, way above Brahmaloka. You have to climb a ladder. Good. Paaduka Devi is that ladder. That will help you climb all the way to Sri Vaikuntham. What else you need when you have Paaduka Devi? If you have done Sharanagati, maintain your Sharanagati in the best of the best possible way. If you have not done Sharanagati, you are just driving a vehicle without insurance. Better do that insurance very soon. And Paaduka Devi will protect you. Because she is also mercy personified. Go ahead, Amma, quickly. If you have any question, make it fast.
Narayana Swamiji, quick question. So, who is this Paaduka Devi? Is the same as Sri Mahalakshmi, or is it Nityasuri, or?
No, ma, no, ma. See, Paaduka Devi, Sri Mahalakshmi is unique, ma. But all the people, Daya Devi, Paaduka Devi, they are the amshas of Mahalakshmi serving her. Why we go to Paaduka Devi? Because she is the one capable of wiping out all our sins. Right, Amma?
Narayana.
Krishna says three doors are there wide open to hell. Kama, Krodhas, Tatha, Lobha. Our desires that are against Dharma. Our anger that is leading us to commit more and more sins. Lobham, our greediness. Even though we are blessed with lots of wealth, we do not want to share that wealth with the needy or for a divine purpose. Greediness. These are the three doors wide open to hell, and Paaduka Devi is like a padlock. You want to climb to Sri Vaikuntham, you need a ladder. Paaduka Devi is that ladder. She will do anything and everything for you. Yes, you are surrendered, but your mind is restless because there are so many desires that are there pulling you in all directions. Yes, they are as strong as elephants. How to stop them? Even an elephant can be controlled by tying it up with steel chains. Steel chains. Paaduka Devi is the steel chains. To control the elephants like senses. You have everything there with Paaduka Devi. Go ahead, ma'am.
Dasanari Acharya. A question about Ashtalakshmi Acharya. Is Vidya Lakshmi Amshama of Ashtalakshmi? Why do we call her Vidya Lakshmi Acharya?
Because she is the only one who can be called as Bhagavan. So Saraswati is still a Jivatma. Therefore, Bhagavan Sri Krishna Emma, what did Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita, man? Kirtir Srir Vakcha Narinam Smrutir Medha Dhrutik Shama. You remember mine Vibhuti Yogam?
Yes, Acharya.
Kirtihi Srir Vakcha Narinam Smrutihi Medha Dhrutihi Kshama. So all these female forms of Kirti, Shri, Vak means Saraswati. Smruti, remembrance, Medha, intelligence, Dhrutihi, forbearance, Kshama, patience. These are all Bhagavan's amshas. Same way, Paaduka Devi is an amsha of Mahalakshmi.
Acharya, question about Hayagriva and Vidyalakshmi. Acharya, who's the Lord of knowledge then?
Again, sir. Hayagriva is Bhagavan Sriman Narayana. Hayagriva is Bhagavan Sriman Narayana, none other than Sriman Narayana. Dakshinya Ramya, read Deshika Stotras. Deshika has given everything for us. Not only Bhagavad Gita we should learn. Unfortunately, you're all tied up with so many things, job, families, etc. Right now we are fortunate to do those 12,000 times continuous Ritambu. I'm sure by the time we complete, those people who join and really put in their heart and soul will definitely be blessed with that. Paratantram. Same way, Deshika says, Dakshinya Ramya Girishasya Murtihi Devi Saroja Sana Dharma Patni Vyasa Dayopi Vyapadeshya Vachaha Spuranti Deshi Tavashakti Leshaih. Hayagriva is Paramatma, Dakshinamurti, Vedavyasa, Saraswati, they're all Jivatmas. Just a fraction of the knowledge of Hayagriva made them as Jnana Swarupa Dakshinamurti, as goddess of education, and Vedavyasa to format the Vedas. Even when a little bit of the energy of Hayagriva could make this Jivatma so great, how great is Paramatma? That is the way we should understand. There is no comparison at all between Saraswati and Hayagriva. If Hayagriva's knowledge is 100%, Tava Shakti Leshahi, what all these people got, maybe less than 1%. All right, Amma, we'll continue Paaduka Sahasram next weekend. And here 5 o'clock we have Mahabharata, Dharma in Mahabharata, which is very, very difficult. 100,000 verses are there in Mahabharata. So far, I could really go even to look for Mahabharata, Dharma in Mahabharata. Within 1 week, I struggled now to go at least only up to some 30,000 verses. Browsing as fast as I can. So it may take time. Narayan.